What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Be Wise Podcast. I am your host, Chris Y. Wright. We're going to talk about Eileen Gu. I didn't want to talk about her during the Olympics, so I decided to wait until the Olympics was over. It was already kind of a hot topic, but not a top story. I think the hockey team took over all the news or anything else that could be covered in the Olympics. But in the background, there was talk about Eileen Gu. If you don't know her, she's a world-class Olympian skier. But I do want to talk about it today because a lot has been said about her, whether she's a traitor, why would she ski for China, CCP, and why didn't she ski for the United States? So just imagine like winning 2 gold medals. You win gold medals, you speak 2 languages, you go to Stanford, and you still get called a traitor online. Eileen Gu, she didn't just shake up the Olympics, but she like broke people's brains. And I just wanted to talk about that because I thought it was an intriguing story, and you might not find it interesting, but maybe the world will. But you know that I'm a conservative right-wing guy. That's how I vote. That's my most of my viewpoints. And I'm kind of not on the side of a lot of my, counterparts or people who speak the same language as I do. I'm on a different side. And so she's this Olympian freestyle, skiing superstar. She was born in San Francisco, 2003. Young lady, very young. She's 22 years old now. But just a little background. Her mother, Yan Gu, is Chinese and originally from Beijing. And her father's American, European descent. And she was raised primarily by her mother. And Gu, she grew up moving between the United States and China. So she's gone back and forth. So she has some affiliation with both countries. She's fluent in both English and Mandarin, deeply connected to both cultures. Academically, she's just as elite as she is athletically. She scored a 1580 out of 1600 on the SAT, graduated high school a year early, and earned like early admission to Stanford University. And that was her dream school since childhood. So at Stanford, she majors in international relations, has taken demanding courses, including quantum physics. Imagine that. She joined campus organizations. She's a soror. She was in a sorority. She's even studied abroad at Oxford University's Magdalen College. And all of this while competing at the highest level of world sports. This girl's she's my idol. I mean, she enrolled after winning 2 gold medals and 1 silver at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, 18 years old. And she did that representing China, instantly becoming one of the most recognizable athletes on earth. And to prepare herself for future Olympic competition, she's taken academic leave periods while continuing her studies. Love her decision or hate it, Eileen's a boss. She's the boss. She's not just an Olympian, but she's a rare mix of elite athlete, top-tier student, a global celebrity navigating identity in a very, very modern world. We are putting too much pressure. Let me explain something. I have a 22-year-old, very confused about the world, trying to stabilize her life, trying to figure it all out. Probably can't even wrap her arms around patriotism and what that means. She's just being a human. And I'm just trying to figure out why everyone or all these people are so mad at Eileen Gu. Because I just totally think that they're missing the point. And it's kind of frustrating. And like I said, a lot of the people that I listen to, podcasts, follow, I think they're missing it.
Let me tell you who Eileen Gu is, because this is not a likable person. Absolutely not a likable person. Watch.
I'm so proud of how I've done this Olympics. I joke, I'm not a betting woman, but if I were, I took a big gamble. this time because I chose to do 3 events knowing that I hadn't trained half pipe in 2 months, knowing that I would miss the half pipe training. I'm an introspective young woman. Like, I spend a lot of time in my head, and it's not a bad place to be. The fact is, I get to become every day the kind of person that me at age 8 would revere. Like, I would be obsessed with me today. Are you kidding? I would love me. Global beneficial impact is like my central theme. The fact is, a rising tide raises all boats. And so this is also good for every other athlete competing, regardless of what country you compete for.
She's giving Gail King post Blue Origin. I'm an inspiration. Just ask me. The 8-year-old me would revere me. Like, who talks like that?
Eileen Gu talks like that. And that's why I like her so much. She thinks outside the box. She can speak in front of a crowd. I think that she's very engaging. She's witty. Megyn Kelly doesn't like it. But I know why Megyn Kelly doesn't like it. Megyn's not being transparent. Megyn's saying, I don't like her because she's competing with China. That's all. Why wouldn't you like that? When I first heard Eileen Gu speak, I was just like, oh my God. That's crazy stuff. And I just don't understand. Here's Outkick.
Eileen Gu, who lived her entire life, born and raised United States, brilliant young girl who went to Stanford, got nearly a perfect score on her SAT, the best in the world at what she does. She took tens of millions of dollars to turn her back on the United States, the country that she grew up in, to represent China. And by the way, Aisha, she's been asked about things such as what's happening to Jimmy Lai in Hong Kong with the fact that the Chinese have taken over Hong Kong and there's no freedom of speech there.
She doesn't know. She's 22. Yes, she's smart. Believe it or not everyone cares about politics like you and I. People, some of these kids in college at Stanford, yeah, they're smart. But I have friends of my own who never, ever talk politics. If I say J.D. Vance, they might go, who's that? That's just the way this is Gen Z, just the way they are. A lot of them just don't care about it.
There at all. She won't answer the question. She's also been asked about the Uyghurs. She won't answer that question, Aisha. So not only is she taking the money, she's smart enough to know that she's standing for anti-human rights and helping to color and whitewash the awfulness of the decisions
and the people
that China
interviewing
has made
her
for so many people.
Are letting her get away with it.
And sometimes our own moral superiority just kills me. We're always looking at other countries and the things that they do, human rights violations. And I'm not going to talk about the things, but Donald Trump said it best one time when he was talking about Russia. Everybody was talking about Russia human rights violations. And Donald Trump said, we're not that clean either. And we aren't. But we have this moral outrage. But listen, she chose to compete for China in the Olympics instead of Team USA. Some people have these opinions about that, but some critics go as far as to call her a traitor. A traitor? Over skiing? Let's slow this down for a sec, okay? First, who is she? What is she? Like, she holds American citizenship by birth. Grew up in the USA, as I said, trained in American ski programs, developed into one of the best freestyle skiers in the world. Why can't we just love her for that? China does not recognize dual citizenship like we do. You have to be one or the other. So she's represented China internationally, built a massive presence there, both athletically and commercially. She's a model. Culturally, she exists in both worlds. And honestly, that's where this whole controversy lives. Very close to her mother, who was raised in Beijing, very close to her grandmother. I guess the world just doesn't work like that anymore. I wonder if my mother was born and raised in Louisiana, and if my father was this is not the case. I'm just imagining. And my father was from Nigeria, and I was very close to both of them. And let's say I was close to my father's mother who lived in Nigeria. And I played a sport. And I said, this year I would love to represent Nigeria. Would you be mad at me? Would you? Like I said, the world doesn't work like that anymore. Eileen, she grew up bilingual. She's bicultural. She travels between countries all the time. She's connected to both sides of her family. So when she chose to compete for China, she said it was about inspiring young girls there and helping to grow winter sports in China. It's not that big of a thing, guys. It's not. I don't know why we're making a thing about this. Here she is talking about geopolitics.
Literally, right after I won the Olympics, I was taken into this press room by myself, no agent, no mom, no family, nothing. And they're like, so what do you think about US-China geopolitics? And I'm like, I just won the Olympics. Like, you were asking me to solve problems that like world leaders cannot solve? Are you kidding me? I'm just trying to focus on what is relevant to me, what I actually can have impact on, and also what I'm passionate about. I've literally covered everything that I possibly can into every decision that has been publicly scrutinized that I've made. I have no regrets about them. I think I'm making the world a better place. I mean, post-Olympics, 350 million people started snow sports. When I was 8, I knew the entire ski community. I could like count them, you know? And now to have it recognized at such large scale, to have girls on the slopes never questioning that this sport doesn't belong to them. Because the first time they heard about it was from someone who's a young Asian woman. I feel so much fulfillment from this that it's like, oh my gosh, if you're a reporter and you still want to try to spin this into a weird geopolitics story that it's not, it never has been, never will be, then like, you can go do that. Get your 1,000 views.
Need I say more? She just doesn't care. You're asking her about human rights. She has a love and affection for China, and you're going to throw it in her face. There's human rights violations in your country. That's just crazy to me. And here's the thing. I like went on about the 2 skiers who was bashing America, the ice skater who was bashing America, who was saying things, I'm not very proud to be American right now, or I'm here, I'm not represent. This is different. She is not saying anything negative about America. She's not saying I chose China because they're better than America. She said, I'm choosing China because I have an affection for China. And you some out there, you're probably going, well, go live there. No, she loves America. She loves China. Remember when Tiger Woods came on the scene back in 97 or whenever that was? Do you know how many black people he got on the golf course? I literally knew no black people that golfed. 2 years later, you would go to a golf course, blacks at the driving range, blacks taking lessons. Same thing with tennis. If Arthur Ashe didn't get the whole tennis game going on, the Venus and Serena Williams did, so many black people began to play tennis and other sports like lacrosse, soccer. I mean, just so many sports. If someone of your ethnicity does it, that inspires people of the same ethnicity to do it too. You don't have to agree with Eileen Gu, but understand, athletes are not government property. They're just not. She's just so smart. Like this guy, he tried to make a thing about it. I mean, here's J.D. Vance, for instance. He's talking about being American.
But this is a very quick one. Eileen Gu is skiing for China. You were at the Olympics, at the Open. Enes Kanter has said she's a traitor. Some people have said that this is a treasonous to ski for China and to overlook Jimmy Lai and the Uyghurs and pretend like those things aren't problems is a huge problem. What do you think her status should be? Should it be changed?
Well, look, I'm not gonna. I have no idea what her status should be. I think that's ultimately up to the Olympics committee. I won't pretend to wade into that. I certainly personally think that somebody who grew up in the United States of America, who benefited from our education system, from the freedoms and liberties that make this country a great place, I would hope that they want to compete with the United States of America. So I'm going to root for American athletes, and I think part of that is people who identify themselves as Americans. That's who I'm rooting for this Olympics.
Come on. I'm going to keep saying it. She's 22, man. Don't put this pressure on her. Athletes are not government property. She didn't betray teammates. She didn't leak state secrets. She just picked where she wanted to compete. For her mom, for her grandmom. You know, in an international sport that literally allows nationality changes all the time. One guy said, well, it would be one thing if she was competing for Canada or Sweden or somewhere like that, or, you know. But he goes, she's competing with our number one geopolitical adversary. I'm like, come on. She doesn't care about that. She wants to compete for her mom and her grandmom and the country that she goes back and forth with. Her true ethnicity, not her nationality. The Olympics, they allow nationality changes all the time. It happens in soccer. It happens in track. It happens everywhere. The difference, she's famous. She's successful. And geopolitics just makes everything louder. And let's be real. Part of the anger comes from expectations. And that's just weird to me. It's just, I'm sorry. It's just weird to me. I don't know.
Do you see these as 2 silvers gained or 2 golds lost?
I'm the most decorated female free skier in history. I think that's an answer in and of itself. How do I say this? Winning a medal at the Olympics is a life-changing experience for every athlete. Doing it 5 times is exponentially harder. And so the 2 medals lost situation, to be quite frank with you, I think is kind of a ridiculous perspective to take.
I mean, come on. I mean, some people think she should be Team USA, just because she was born here. Athletes make career. Okay, so she is also a model. Can she model in Italy? Can she be a model in France? Can she be a model in Switzerland? She's just a model. She can decide whether she wants to work for an agent in another country or an agent. That would be like saying you only should model in the USA. Athletes make career decisions all the time based on opportunity, sponsorships, exposure, personal identity. And guess what? It works. Do we freak out like this when we're having, FIBA basketball or Olympic basketball? If a player plays basketball here in high school, some of our camps, goes to one of our academies and decides to say, I want to play for Canada. Happens all the time. No one says a blip. Ever. She became like one of the biggest global sports stars on the planet almost overnight. Multiple Olympic medals, major endorsements, huge influences in 2 massive markets. That's not betrayal, that's strategy. She could be one of the richest athletes in the world. And can you blame her? You can disagree with her choice. That's totally fine. But calling a 20-something athlete a traitor because of where she skis, that says more about you than it says about her. At the end of the day, Eileen Gu, she represents something new. Global athletes with mixed identities who don't fit neatly into one flag or one narrative. And honestly, we're probably going to see a lot more of that in the future. I'm going to show you the video that made me fall in love with her when she was just talking about her brain and how she thinks. And that's all I got to say.
It's supposed to be a rude question, but do you think before you speak? Because you answer questions so quickly and so comprehensively, whether it's about geopolitics or your sport or aerodynamics. Like, Can you take us into your brain?
Thank you, Charlotte. That's very kind. Oh man. Do I think? I think overall I'm just a pensive person. Like I'm an introspective young woman. Like I spend a lot of time in my head. And it's not a bad place to be. I journal a lot. I break down all of my thought processes. I think I apply a very analytical lens to my own thinking, and I kind of modify it because it's so interesting. You can control what you think. Like you can control how you think, and therefore you can control who you are. And especially as a young person, like I'm 22, so with neuroplasticity on my side, I can literally become exactly who I want to be. How cool is that? Like how empowering is that, right? And so the fact is I get to become every day the kind of person that me at age 8 would revere. Like I would be obsessed with me today. Are you kidding? I would love me. And I think that's the biggest flex of all time, that you can have like little younger you be proud of you today. And so I guess for me, it's like, yes, I spend a lot of time in my own head. Yes, I think a lot, but it's not really like in an egotistical kind of way. It's in like a tinkering, like a scientist kind of way. I'm always like trying to modify. I'm trying to think, how can I be better? How can I approach my own brain the way that I approach my craft of free skiing, so that I can be better tomorrow than I was today?
How can you not love that? Do you have a 22-year-old? Was your 22-year-old talking like that? Is she allowed to flex knowing that her brain works like that? That she basically conquers her own world? She doesn't need other people to make decisions for her. Okay, you have my 22-year-old can't do that. And that's not a knock on my 22-year-old. My 22-year-old acts like your average 22-year-old. I wouldn't trade her for the world. But I'm asking you, have you seen many people like that who's basically a genius and a marketing maven? All right, chop it up in the comments. That's all I got. I'll see you guys all next time. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care.